Hey guys, Ryan here, and today we are going to be going through, on the final day of 2019, we're going to be looking back at the top 10 races from this year's Advent Calendar series, along with Keystone, that we did with Keystone Guy. This is all 100% my list, my opinions. Feel free to let me know what you guys think your top 10 is. I already know that there's going to be a few on here that both me and Keystone, we talked about it, and we actually disagree on a couple of these, but I figured I'm going to make this my list. If he wants to do his own list, he is more than welcome to go ahead and do his. And I'm sure he'll post his in the comment section down below as well. But we're going to have to get right into it though, because this is going to be a fun list. And all the ones on the screen, by the way, right now are on the list to one degree or another. Coming in at number 10, we have the race in the Advent Calendar series at Jefferson. And the only reason this one is making the top 10 list over other races that probably you could also make a case in, was just how crazy this incident here on the first lap was and how much of a picturesque thing. I mean, that picture is just funny to see. A dirt late model car go that that up in the air, up and over another car. But that's really the bulk of the reasoning why it is getting it. It was a one-off moment at a pretty fun track to drive. So it was a fun race. It was a fun race to make, and the funny one-off moment there really kind of helps put it above some of the other races that had good one-off moments. But let's move right along. Coming on in at number 9, we have Texas. Oh my, the Texas race that we had, it was a fairly mediocre race. It was a slightly above average race, I would say, for the series, especially on a mile and a half. Now, that could partially be due to the fact that Keystone is not particularly good at that track, but it certainly is not, it was not necessarily a boring race by any stretch of the imaginations. But the thing that really helps push this one onto the list and gets it all the way up here into ninth place is really kind of the fuel mileage and kind of the little bit of mind games that was played. Of course, it didn't end up playing into too much of a factor as Keystone couldn't make it on fuel regardless. But neither could I, and the fact that we had to play a little bit of mind games there towards the end between the both of us, I think the fuel mileage race was a ton of fun. And I'm sure Keystone, I hope you'd agree with me on that one, but that's why I'm putting Texas above Jefferson and above some of the other ones that had one-off moments. But let's move right along. Next up, we have number 8, which is MidOhio in the Truck Series. What more do I need to say about this one other than this clip right here? Oh shit. Oh. No, 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 no. I might have a shot here. Guys, I have a shot on a road course. I never won on a road course online. Like, never. Not. So for that fun duel for half a lap, that is why MidOhio will be getting the number 8 spot on the list. But let's move right along here now. Up next is number 7, which is the race from Sonoma Raceway in Wine Country, California. Gets our 7th spot here on the list, and it will actually be the highest rated road course here on my list today, as it was probably the most entertaining, I'd say, start to finish, as we both really didn't know what we were doing, and we both had some trouble getting through the new carousel layout and on the exit of the carousel. But as we started to figure it out, it definitely, we both definitely got it figured out and started to get more comfortable going through the carousel. But one thing that kind of puts it above that duel at MidOhio really is the fact that it was good, not just at the end of the race. Though that last lap pass, I will admit, I'm very happy about it, and that was so much fun. But yeah, so that is why this is going to be the highest rated road course and why it will be number 7 on my list here today. Coming in at number 6 is Homestead, Miami. Has been the site of the NASCAR Championship for a long time. For us, it came pretty early on in our season, and to be honest, it was a fun race on another mile and a half. And one of the biggest things that kind of puts it above a lot of the other races was just from the sheer lunacy of just us spinning out every other lap. It felt like every other lap it was either me spinning out or him spinning out, and then a pit call towards the end of the race was what actually ended up deciding it. But between the pit call being a ton of fun, of course I like pit strategy, but also the chaos of just every other lap us spinning out really kind of helps put it here just outside of the top 5 and helps put it all the way up into the 6th position here on my list. With a top 5 finish in number 5 is Auto Club in the Xfinity Series. And the reason it is getting this top 5 spot over some of these other races, it was a fairly competitive race all throughout, as well as it was going to be the first guaranteed ticket to basically secure that you were going to be racing at worst for a championship on the final day, which of course meant that this was when we were tied up 11-11, and the fact that that we were basically both just gunning for it coming off the final corner, that just made it all the better. And the fact that, of course, I won it definitely doesn't hurt my opinion on the race. But all in all, I think just that drag race to the line, so much fun. And of course, that is a big part about it, is the fact that it came down to just that final few inches. And again, another closer one, but that is what I like, and that's why that's going to get the 5th place here on my list. 4th place will go to our race at the famed Daytona International Speedway. Famous Speedway always seems to be able to bring out great finishes. I remember the first race I broadcast for Misfits was an awesome race the first full race I broadcasted there was a great Xfinity duel at Daytona, and mine and Keystone's duel on episode 3 in the trucks at Daytona for our only super speedway of the month. And oh my, was that so much fun. We were trading the lead every other lap. It felt like we were just trading it back and forth. And in the end, it was another one of those that came down to the fact that I just wasn't able to make the move early enough. And that come to be a trend where the driver on the bottom not able to get those key moments. But yeah, so there we go. We see yet another great finish and a great race overall where we were trading the lead back and forth. Gets rewarded with a top 5 spot here, and it will round out in 4th place on my list. Coming in here at number 3 will be, and here's the controversial one. I guarantee if there's going to be one that is going to be debated about in the comments down below, first off, feel free to debate any of my points here in the comments, but it is my list and my personal opinion. But I'm going to put New Hampshire, the New Hampshire race, at 3rd place. And before you guys all go down and say, wait a minute, why are you putting it down there? Let me explain. Yes, that was the race where we tied and sent us to race number 26. And it was a complete dead tie, great finish, and that is what's getting at this spot. But it was a fairly mediocre race all the way up until then. Not a whole lot of passing. It was a lot of holding off and a couple of mistakes here and there that allowed for passing. But for the most part, the race was made or broken by that final lap. Like, if that final lap hadn't been entertaining, it probably wouldn't have gotten a spot on this list, even though it would have been, in that case, the championship race. I can almost guarantee it would not have gotten a spot on this list, but it does because of that finish right there. But I'm gonna leave it at 3rd. Feel free to debate this one though. But let's move on. Number 2 is going to. So, I am actually going to give the 2nd spot here to Bristol Motor Speedway over New Hampshire. As I said earlier, New Hampshire got 3rd. But I'm going to give the Bristol race that started off this whole journey on the 1st of December the nod into 2nd place. And here's my reasoning for it. Great duel. Lots of trading back and forth. Lots of attempted passing for the lead. a little bit of that same lunacy from that we saw at Homestead a few days later. And a pretty good duel to the finish as well, which wasn't necessarily a one-lap sprint, but it was certainly a fun duel to the finish in the last Great Coliseum. Great battle for the finish, and to be honest, it's what started what was at that point we were still unsure of how the series was going to do, but that video right there sparked the rest of the series into what I think is a massive success and is going to keep this series going for hopefully years to come. And that is part of why I'm going to give Bristol the nod, is that it was a more entertaining race through and through, despite the finish was slightly less climactic. Before we get to number one here on my list, I'm going to go through a few honorable mentions. Okay, so a few quick honorable mentions are races like Phoenix that had a pretty nice finish, but that had a pretty good moment in the race. But all in all, it was a one-off moment in a fairly mediocre race otherwise. So I'm not going to give it one of the top 10 spots necessarily because of that. Though the wreck at the finish was pretty funny. Las Vegas, my aggressive block. It was an interesting move to make, and it was kind of the one-off moment for that race. But for the same reason, not going to give it a spot on the list. And for Dover, do I need to say any more except for this clip?
The 42, and his 42's in the wall.
Ow.
And Newman is going to get in with that move.
I did. Okay, so I don't have to say it anymore. Okay, well then let's get on to number one. And with no further delay, the number one spot will go to... So if you haven't guessed it by now, come on, what are you doing? You really haven't guessed what the number one finish is by now? We've gone through 10 other finishes. It's got to go to Richmond Cup. The Richmond Cup race that ended off the series finale. It was a pretty good race. Again, some nice short track racing, battling back and forth. And unlike the previous two Richmond races, it didn't come down to either a speeding penalty or one person just having a lot more trouble handling the car than the other. It came down to a straight up duel sparked by this crash here, and then sparked into a 2-lap dash, which involved a crazy close finish. And really, in the end, I don't know if I had another shot to do that in the same spot, I do not think I would have pulled it off twice. So for those reasons, it was a great race overall. It was the climax of the series because we were already hyped up to like a billion at that point, and the fact that it got that it was down to about a tenth of a second or so, I just think that gives it enough reason to be my number one pick here. But of course, feel free to let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Debate any of my points. I'm sure second and third, you guys could probably pretty easily swap those around, but that's my picks, and yeah, so hopefully you guys don't disagree with my pick here in number one too much. I think that's probably the least controversial pick, but I guess we'll figure that out. So that's all for my Advent Calendar series coverage for this year. Of course, this is coming out on the final day of the year, but also this will probably be the final Advent Calendar video, probably until we're getting close to December again next year, unfortunately. So feel free to let me know how excited you guys are for when we bring back this series yet again, because I can almost guarantee you that Keystone and we will be back, and I will beat him again next December. But yeah, so thank you guys, though, for sticking with me through this video. Hopefully it wasn't too long. Hopefully it wasn't too short. I don't really know because I haven't edited it yet. I'm just recording clips right now. But yeah, so thank you guys all for watching. Remember, like button, comment down below your thoughts on what your top 10 is. And also remember to hit the subscribe button if you guys are new, so you guys never miss an episode like the series when it comes back. You don't want to miss any episodes when the series comes back next December. But I'm going to be continuing to do content, though, all throughout the year. It just won't be Advent Calendar content, as the Advent Calendar is a December tradition. So thank you guys all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!